What if the most powerful anti-aging food on earth was something your great-grandmother kept on the counter, ate every single afternoon, and never once called a snack? What if it cost less than a multivitamin? What if it sat in pantries across 4 continents for over 1,000 years, then disappeared in a single generation? Most people think collagen is something you buy. A powder. A capsule. A scoop stirred into morning coffee with a label that costs more than the meal itself. But for most of human history, collagen was not a product. It was a habit. A small daily ritual woven into how people cooked, what they refused to throw away, and what they reached for between long stretches of work. That ritual is mostly forgotten. And the strange part is, your body is still waiting for it. Every hour, your skin, your joints, your tendons, the lining of your gut are tearing down old collagen and rebuilding with whatever you happen to send. Most people send nothing. Their great-grandmothers sent everything. So we went looking. Through old farmhouse cookbooks. Through ethnobotanical records. Through traditional kitchens in Eastern Europe, West Africa, coastal Japan, the American South. We pulled out the snacks real people ate by the handful long before the supplement aisle existed. 13 of them. Ranked from remarkable to absolutely extraordinary. All forgotten. All food. Stay close, because number 6 on this list is a small salty fish Mediterranean fisherman ate by the handful for centuries. An ounce for ounce it carries more marine collagen than most supplements sitting on a pharmacy shelf. And number 13, the one we end on, is a wobbling, glistening peasant food that is, quite literally, pure collagen you can hold in your hand. Almost no one under 50 has tasted it. It was once a Sunday staple from Warsaw to Seoul. Hit subscribe right now if you want more forgotten food wisdom every week, because we are going deep into ancestral nutrition the way it was actually eaten, not the way it is sold back to you. Hi viewers, quick question before we begin. Did you grow up in a home where nothing from the animal was ever wasted, yes or no? One word is enough. I read every reply. The first forgotten snack on this list sits closer to you than any other, and that is exactly why it gets ignored. A plain hard-boiled egg. Yolk intact. Cool from the fridge. For Roman soldiers on the march, for medieval farmhands at midday, for market traders across half the known world, the boiled egg was the original portable food. Cheap. Complete. Already cooked. And inside that small unassuming shell sits one of the cleanest sources of proline and glycine your kitchen will ever produce. Proline, the structural backbone of the collagen triple helix. Glycine, which makes up roughly 1/3 of every collagen molecule in your body. Without them, the chain cannot hold. Egg whites carry the proline. The yolk, the part low-fat culture spent 30 years telling people to discard, carries choline and fat-soluble vitamins that support every membrane in the skin. Throwing it out was never thrift. It was a quiet loss. 2 eggs. Sunday evening. Peeled and waiting all week. But the next snack is something the supplement industry now sells back to you at 5 times the price, and your grandmother kept it in a jar by the stove. Pumpkin seeds. Lightly toasted. A pinch of sea salt. That is the recipe. Indigenous communities across what is now Mexico and the American Southwest dried and ate pumpkin seeds for thousands of years. They called them peptides long before any nutrition label called them a superfood. And the reason your great-grandmother kept a jar near the stove had nothing to do with marketing. They simply made people feel stronger. The bones held. The skin held. The wounds closed faster. Folk wisdom said so for generations before modern research ever confirmed why. That reason is zinc. A small handful of pumpkin seeds delivers a meaningful share of your daily zinc requirement, and zinc is one of the unsung cofactors your body needs to convert proline into the stable, locked form of collagen that actually holds together inside your skin and tendons. Without zinc, the amino acids arrive, but the assembly line stalls. Most people supply the protein. Almost no one feeds the enzyme. Pumpkin seeds quietly do both. And the next snack on this list is one that dieters threw away for an entire decade, before quietly discovering it was building their joints from the inside. Full-fat cottage cheese. Crushed berries on top. A spoon. That is the snack. And for most of the last century, every farmhouse refrigerator from the dairy belt of America to the alpine valleys of Switzerland held a tub of it. Then diet culture buried it. The labels turned sterile. The fat was stripped out. The character vanished, and a whole generation walked past the dairy case without looking. What they walked past was casein, the slow-release milk protein that trickles proline and glycine into your bloodstream over hours rather than minutes. While fast proteins spike and fall, casein keeps the building site supplied long after the snack is gone. Layer crushed strawberries, blueberries, or raspberries over the top, and the berries bring anthocyanins, the deep pigments research suggests helps slow the enzymes that break collagen down. One feeds the build. The other guards the build. Together they cover both directions of a process your body never stops running. 2 minutes to assemble. Hours of quiet work afterward. But what comes next is not in the dairy aisle. It is not even in the refrigerator. It is older than refrigeration itself. And 3 separate continents invented it on their own, because survival demanded it. Long before refrigeration, before salt mines were mapped, before the wheel reached every continent, 3 different peoples on 3 different continents solved the same problem in nearly the same way. Meat had to travel. Meat had to last. And the meat that lasted, when prepared with skill, carried more than calories. It carried the structural amino acids your body still uses to rebuild itself today. In North America, the Cree, the Lakota, and the meat is pounded dried bison or venison with rendered fat and dried berries into dense cakes called pemmican. A pouch of it could sustain a hunter through a week of cold weather travel. In southern Africa, the Cocoa and later Dutch settlers cured strips of beef and game in vinegar, salt, and coriander, hanging them to air dry into what became known as biltong. In the high valleys of the Andes, the Quechua draped thin sheets of llama and alpaca meat across cold stone, letting altitude and wind do the curing. They called it siacharki. The word eventually became jerky. 3 traditions. 1 quiet truth. Slow drying preserves the protein matrix almost perfectly. The glycine, the proline, the lysine, the 3 amino acids your body weaves into every collagen strand, survive the process intact and arrive concentrated by ounce. The modern grocery store version is mostly noise. Sugar. Industrial seed oils. Sodium nitrite. Look for the clean version. Grass-fed beef, sea salt, spice, and thyme. Read the back of the bag the way your great-grandmother would have read a stranger at the door. Carefully. Done right, a small piece in the afternoon is the same survival snack a Lakota scout carried across the plains. Different century. Same biology. But the next forgotten snack on this list is one most people throw straight into the trash without a second thought, and a fishing village in Japan has been eating it as a delicacy for over 400 years. Salmon skin. Crisped in a hot pan. Salted while it still hisses. In the coastal villages of northern Japan, the Ainu people built much of their kitchen tradition around the salmon run, and almost nothing of the fish was discarded. The skin was scraped, dried, and crisped over flame until it shattered between the teeth. Scandinavian and Pacific Northwest indigenous traditions did much the same. The flesh fed the family. The skin fed the elders and the children, the ones whose bodies needed help holding themselves together. They were not wrong to save it for them. Salmon skin carries marine type 1 collagen. The same collagen type that makes up roughly 80% of the collagen in human skin. Research suggests marine collagen peptides are absorbed efficiently and appear to support skin elasticity and hydration when consumed regularly over several weeks. And the skin brings something the flesh alone cannot match. A concentrated layer of omega-3 fatty acids sitting just beneath it. Those fats appear to calm the same inflammatory enzymes that tear collagen apart at the cellular level. So while the peptides feed the rebuild, the omega-3s guard what has already been built. The taste is its own argument. Salty. Smoky. A crackle like burnt sugar but savory. Brush a fillet with a thin film of oil. Lay the skin flat. Hot pan. Sea salt. Walk away for 4 minutes. Come back to a shard of food so satisfying you will wonder who decided this should be thrown away in the first place. It was not your grandmother. That much is certain. But the next snack is the one promised at the beginning of this list. The small salty fish Mediterranean fishermen ate by the handful. The one most Western shoppers walk past every single week, never realizing what is sitting inside that little flat tin. Sardines? Whole. With the soft, edible bones still inside. From the coasts of Portugal to the islands of Sicily to the fishing towns of southern Spain, sardines were never a delicacy. They were lunch. A staple. The food a working man ate standing up beside his boat with a heel of bread and a wedge of lemon. In Brittany, French sardine canneries built entire towns around the catch. In southern Italy, grandmothers folded them into pasta, into salads, into bread. Across Southeast Asia, dried and salted small fish carried the same weight in the daily kitchen. Nutritionally, very few snacks on this list match what a tin of sardines delivers in a single sitting. Start with the skin. Marine type 1 collagen, identical in structure to what the salmon's skin carries. Then the bones. Soft enough to eat without effort, and made almost entirely of collagen matrix, and the calcium and phosphorus locked inside it. You are eating the whole structural protein package of a small animal in one bite. Almost nothing else in a modern pantry can claim that. Layered onto that, EPA and DHA, the long-chain omega-3 fats that research suggests help quiet the inflammatory enzymes that drive collagen breakdown. Selenium, the trace mineral that supports your body's own antioxidant defenses. Vitamin D, B12. Protein. All of it inside a tin that costs less than a coffee. The taste is bolder than salmon. Briny. Oily in the way good olive oil is oily, not the way fast food is oily. A faint sweetness if you find a tin packed in olive oil and lemon. Lay them across a slab of sourdough still warm from the toaster. A smear of mustard. A squeeze of fresh lemon. A crack of black pepper. Eat slowly. This is what fishermen from 4 different coastlines knew was worth coming home to. Modern shoppers walk past the shelf. Their great-grandparents would have filled a basket. But what comes next in the next chapter is even stranger. A snack an entire Mediterranean coastline eats by the handful at lunch counters, and almost no American has ever tried. And after that, something fried, savory, and so old that village butchers across half the world considered it the rightful reward at the end of a day's work. The lunch counters of Naples, Barcelona, and Marseille have a small ritual that almost never crosses the Atlantic. A piece of dark rye or country bread. A thin scrape of cold butter. 2 or 3 little silver fish laid across the top. A glass of something dry beside it. And a man in a paint-stained jacket eating it in 3 bites before going back to work. Anchovies on buttered bread. Forgotten everywhere else. Eternal there. For over 2,000 years, anchovies have been cured in salt along the coasts of the Mediterranean. The Romans built an entire economy around a fermented anchovy sauce they called garum, exported in clay vessels from Spain to the edges of the empire. In Catalonia, the salting tradition still runs through family workshops 3 generations deep. In southern Italy and Provence, anchovies cured in sea salt are stirred into nearly every regional dish that has lasted more than 100 years. And here is what those cultures knew without ever naming it. A small whole fish, cured and aged, delivers nearly everything a body needs to keep its connective tissue strong. The skin and bones bring collagen-rich material. The flesh brings complete protein with glycine, proline, and lysine in every bite. The salt curing breaks down the proteins partially, in the way fermentation often does, which research suggests may support easier amino acid absorption. Selenium, omega-3s, calcium from the soft bones. All of it folded into a fish small enough to balance on a fingertip. The taste is unapologetic. Salt. C. A deep savory note that lingers long after the bite is gone. Butter softens it. Bread carries it. Lemon brightens it. Most people who say they hate anchovies have only met them chopped, lost in a sauce, or dumped onto a pizza without ceremony. Eaten properly, on cold butter, on warm bread, they are one of the finest small meals a working person can build in under a minute. Your great-grandfather may have eaten this every Saturday. Your great-grandmother may have salted them herself. The recipe needs no card. But the next snack is one nutrition culture spent 30 years teaching people to fear, and ancestral kitchens across 4 continents quietly celebrated. Pork rinds. Real ones. Made from pasture-raised pork, rendered in the animal's own fat, seasoned with nothing but salt. In Spain they are called cortezas. In Mexico, chicharrón, sold hot and crackling from street carts wrapped in paper. In the American South, they were a Sunday afternoon snack made the day a hog was butchered, nothing wasted, everything used. In the Philippines, chicharrón is a celebration food. In rural China, fried pork skin sits in glass jars in country kitchens still. The reputation collapsed in the late 20th century, when industrial versions arrived fried in cheap seed oils and dusted with synthetic flavorings. That is not the food the tradition was built on. The real version, made the old way, is almost pure protein with very little else. And a meaningful share of that protein is collagen and the amino acids closest to collagen, glycine and proline above all. Pork skin is connective tissue. Connective tissue is collagen. Heat does not destroy the amino acid value. It simply turns the structure crisp. The sound matters as much as the taste. A clean, dry crack between the teeth. Salt on the tongue. A faint sweetness underneath, the way good pork fat always carries. Eaten with a squeeze of lime, the way Mexican grandmothers serve it, the whole snack lifts into something completely different from the bag at a gas station. Sourcing is the entire game. Pasture pork. Clean fat. Sea salt. Nothing else. That version is older than the industrial version by about 10,000 years, and it earned its place. Hi viewers, if you have made it this far, you already know this list is not a parade of supplements pretending to be food. It is a memory. Drop a like to help more people find this, and stay close, because what comes next changes the way you will look at the chicken sitting in your refrigerator forever. That next snack is one the diet industry told people to throw away for decades, and the supplement industry now quietly grinds up capsules and sells back at 6 times the price. Chicken skin. Roasted flat. Crisp golden. Salted while still hot. For most of human history, no one removed it. The Sunday roast came to the table with the skin on, and the crispest pieces were the small reward at the end. French farmhouse cooking, Italian nana cooking, Jewish grey beans from Eastern Europe where the skin was rendered slowly with onions until shatteringly crisp, West African pepper chicken where the skin carried half the flavor of the dish, Filipino lechon manok with its lacquered amber skin. Every culture that raised birds learned the same lesson. The skin was the prize. Then the calorie chart arrived and the prize went into the trash. And almost immediately, supplement companies began producing chicken-derived collagen capsules. Type 1 collagen from the skin. Type 2 collagen from the cartilage around the joints. Research on chicken collagen, including work published in peer-reviewed clinical journals, suggests it may support joint comfort and connective tissue health when taken consistently over several weeks. You can buy the capsule. Or you can lay the skin flat on parchment, salt it well, and roast it at 400 degrees for 15 minutes until it turns the color of an old penny. The smell that fills the kitchen is the smell almost every traditional grandmother on earth would recognize before she opened her eyes. Crisp. Savory. Salt bright. Almost weightless on the tongue, then gone. The chicken does not know it was a supplement. The supplement only knows it was first a chicken. But what comes in the next chapter is not roasted, not fried, not even technically a meat dish. It is a homemade snack so simple a child can shape it, and one small randomized study suggests eating it before exercise may double the rate of collagen building inside tendons. A wobbling, ruby-colored cube on a plate. Sweet tart. Chewy. The kind of thing children reach for without being asked twice. Homemade gummies. Not the kind in the brightly colored bag at the checkout aisle. The kind your great-grandmother made from a packet of unflavored gelatin and whatever fruit was in season. Before commercial candy companies turned gummies into corn syrup with food coloring, every farmhouse kitchen in Europe and much of North America made some version of this. Bloom a tablespoon of grass-fed gelatin in cold tart cherry juice. Warm it gently until the granules melt completely. Stir in a spoon of raw honey. Pour into a shallow pan or silicone molds. Let it rest in the refrigerator for 2 hours. What you pull out is gelatin in its purest snackable form. And gelatin, simply, is collagen that has been gently broken down by heat into peptide fragments small enough for your body to absorb. A small randomized study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition examined what happened when participants consumed gelatin before exercise. The results suggested that pre-exercise gelatin appeared to double the rate of collagen synthesis inside the tendons of the participants compared to those who received the placebo. Doubled. From a kitchen snack a child could make on a rainy afternoon. Tart cherry juice carries its own quiet bonus. Anthocyanins, the same deep pigments found in berries, that research suggests may help calm the inflammatory enzymes that wear collagen down. Honey carries trace minerals and a softness no granulated sugar can match. The taste is somewhere between candy and medicine, but closer to candy. A faint cherry sweetness. A clean chew. A finish that is almost floral if the honey is good. Children eat them without question. Adults eat them on a paper towel beside the laptop and forget they were ever a remedy. But what comes next is a snack most modern shoppers have walked away from entirely, even though it was a Sunday evening staple in nearly every European farmhouse before 1960. Chicken liver pâté. Spread thin and cool over a sourdough cracker. In French country kitchens, in Eastern European cottages, in Jewish homes from Vilnius to New York, in West African villages where every part of the bird was put to use, liver was understood as the strong food. The food you ate when your hands felt weak. The food a new mother was given. The food saved for the elders. Modern shoppers walk past it. The reasons are mostly cultural, almost never nutritional. Because nutritionally, chicken liver is one of the densest small foods in a grocery store. Glycine, the amino acid that makes up roughly a third of every collagen molecule in your body, sits in unusually high concentration there. Vitamin A, in its retinol form, the form your body uses without conversion, regulates the turnover of the skin cells that sit above your collagen layer. And copper, in the quantity liver provides, activates an enzyme called a lysyl oxidase, the enzyme that locks freshly made collagen strands into the woven cross-linked structure that gives skin and tendons their actual strength. The flavor is silken when the pâté is made well. A spoon of softened butter folded in. Sweet onion cooked slowly until it almost melts. A splash of brandy if the household keeps one. Salt. Pepper. A little thyme. Whip it smooth, chill it in a small crock, and spread it cool over a cracker that still smells of sourdough. Iron bright. Buttery. Faintly sweet underneath. A taste old enough that the body recognizes it before the mind does. But what comes next is older than every snack on this list. Older than the cured fish. Older than the pâté. Older than refrigeration itself. It is the food traditional healers across half the world reached for first when someone was tired, recovering, or simply hungry. Bone broth. Warm. In a small cup. Sip slowly the way people once sipped tea. In rural China, bone broth simmered overnight has been part of traditional medicine practice for centuries, prescribed for recovery, for joints that ached in the cold, for the elderly whose appetites had faded. In medieval Europe, traveling merchants carried small clay pots of reduced broth on long winter roads. Across many indigenous communities in North America, broth sipped throughout the day was considered medicine as much as food. In Jewish households, chicken soup carried its own near-sacred reputation, the dish a mother brought to a sick child without being asked. The science follows what the tradition already knew. When bones are slow-simmered for 12 to 24 hours, the collagen locked inside the bone and the connective tissue around it breaks down into gelatin, and then into the same free amino acids found in the gummies, the gelatin, the chicken skin, and the sardines. Glycine. Proline. Hydroxyproline. Research on collagen peptides, published in journals including Nutrients, suggests regular intake over several weeks may support skin elasticity and hydration. Pour the broth into a thermos in the morning. Sip a small cup at 3 in the afternoon, the hour every kitchen tradition seems to reach for something warm. A pinch of sea salt. A squeeze of lemon. A small knob of butter if the day is cold. The smell alone unlocks something. Roasted bones. Onion skin. Bay leaf. The kitchen of a grandmother you may never have met but somehow remember. But none of these, not the broth, not the pate, not the sardines, not the chicken skin, compared to what waits at number 13. The snack that is, quite literally, pure collagen you can hold in your hand. A wobbling, glistening, savory cube that almost no one under 50 has tasted, and that was once a Sunday staple in households from Warsaw to Seoul. A square of something cool and trembling on a small plate. Pale gold. Almost translucent. Tiny flecks of herbs and garlic suspended inside it like leaves frozen in amber. A spoon presses down, and it gives, soft and yielding, then melts on the tongue into something savory and clean and unmistakably alive. This is the forgotten snack at the top of the list. In Poland it is called galarita or zimny nozki. In Russia and Ukraine, koladets and studan, served cold on every holiday table for as long as anyone in the family can remember. In France, it is aspic, dressed up in restaurant kitchens but rooted in farmhouse practice. In Scandinavia, silta. In Korea, japion, made from pig trotters simmered with ginger and soy. In parts of West Africa and the Caribbean, similar jellied preparations show up wherever feet, knuckles, and oxtails are slow cooked until the broth sets on its own. 6 continents. The same idea. Simmer the parts of the animal richest in connective tissue for the better part of a day. Strain. Season. Pour into a shallow pan. Let the cold do the rest. What forms overnight is not added gelatin. Not gelatin from a packet. The broth thickens and sets entirely on its own, because the collagen extracted from the bones, the skin, and the joints is so concentrated that the liquid turns solid by morning. It is the only snack on this list that is, by weight, mostly collagen itself. Every other entry, the broth, the gummies, the chicken skin, the sardines, points toward this one. This is the form they have all been imitating. Research on collagen peptide consumption, including work in peer-reviewed nutrition journals, suggests regular intake of these specific amino acid fragments may support skin elasticity, joint comfort, and the body's natural connective tissue rebuilding over several weeks. Aspic is that delivery in its oldest, simplest, food-first form. No powder. No capsule. No marketing. The preparation is patient, not difficult. Roast beef knuckles, oxtail, or chicken feet until they color. Cover with cold water in a heavy pot. Add a halved onion, a few carrots, a bay leaf, peppercorns, a clove of garlic. Bring to the gentlest simmer the stove can hold. 18 hours, sometimes 24. The kitchen fills with a smell so old it feels remembered before it is registered. Strain twice through fine cloth. Season carefully. Pour into a loaf pan or small ramekins. Cool on the counter. Then the refrigerator. By morning, a clear amber slab waits, firm enough to slice, soft enough to melt. Cubed onto a plate with a smear of strong mustard, a pickle, a slice of dark bread, and a sprinkle of sea salt, it tastes like nothing else in a modern pantry. Cool. Savory. Faintly herbal. Garlic in the background. A finish that lingers in the way a long story lingers after the last line. This is the snack a Polish grandmother shaped with bare hands the day before a wedding. The snack a Ukrainian father served his children on a January afternoon when the windows were white with frost. The snack a Korean cook layered into small bowls at a Lunar New Year table. The snack almost no one in the modern world has tasted, and almost everyone's ancestors knew by heart. Pure collagen. Held in the hand. Eaten cold. Step back from the list now and the pattern becomes clear. 13 snacks. For quiet jobs. The bone broth, the salmon skin, the sardines, the anchovies, the chicken skin, the pork rinds, the homemade gummies, the pate, and the aspic all deliver collagen directly, informs ancestral kitchens have used for centuries. The boiled eggs, the cottage cheese, the jerky, and the pâté supply the amino acid foundation, the glycine and proline and lysine your body weaves into every new collagen strand. The pumpkin seeds in the pâté carry the mineral cofactors, the zinc and the copper, that your enzymes need to lock those strands into place. The berries layered over the cottage cheese protect what has already been built, with the same deep pigments research suggests may slow the enzymes that pull collagen apart. Not a supplement protocol. A grocery list older than most countries. Hit the like button if this changed the way you look at what is sitting in your refrigerator right now. Drop a comment and tell me which snack surprised you the most. Are you Team Aspic, Team Sardines, or Team Chicken Skin Crisps? Every reply gets read. Every story gets remembered. And subscribe before you go, because the next video on this channel goes deeper into a part of the kitchen most people forgot existed. 13 forgotten breakfast drinks the Slavic grandmothers of the 1940s poured for their grandchildren every single morning, including one fermented oat drink called kyselj that almost vanished from history, and a warm honeyed beverage from the mountains of Georgia that was once served to soldiers before long marches. The most powerful food traditions on earth did not disappear. They were only put down for a generation. Pick them back up.